Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Sarita. This is Rich in Spirit, and I am your Chief Spiritual Officer. That's how I want people to think of me. This video I'm doing today is all about how I was able to manifest using principles and affirmations from Florence Scovel Shinn. And I am so very excited today because someone asked in a comment if I would mind sharing some examples of how I use Florence's principles and affirmations to really start reconstructing my life. And these principles transformed me from having a career working in fashion in New York and working in media to now working in a policy space in Maryland. And when I was putting and continue, when I have Florence's affirmations around my home on sticky notes, note cards, it's not for aesthetics, and I'm not just reading affirmation. I am absolutely reconstructing my reality. And I wanted to share how these principles really help change my execution, because it is also about going in and doing the actual work. But the affirmations, which really are more like declarations, really help to shape your reality beyond just positive thinking. So, if you are not familiar, I'm going to attach the video that really set this off, and it's titled, I read all of Florence Scovel Shinn's books, so you don't have to, but I definitely think that you should. And I'm also going to include a link to purchase the book in the comments below, so make sure that you check it out. And if you're new here, please like and subscribe and share this content with your friends, because I think that all of us deserve to shape and live the reality that we want, so long as we are not hurting anyone and we are really just working to, use our gifts and our skills and our talents and make this world what we want it to be for ourselves. So with that, I think there's three principles that I would like to highlight. And the first one comes from your word is your wand. And that is really how words shape reality beyond positive thinking. And when I, read your word is your wand, it really had me thinking about how the things that we say, how the things that we think, we have to start to observe them, because we could be putting ourselves down, showing up in an inferior way, not allowing ourselves to be okay with not knowing things, being okay with getting knowledge faster than typically we may have been accustomed to. Because I do think we are certainly at a space in time now where people are talking about quantum jumping, quantum leaping, changing timelines. So people are, they are manifesting their best lives, and they are doing it fast. And they are tapping into that other layer of consciousness where the answers that they seek are being able to be downloaded into them. And they are able to absorb and learn new information and new skills in a matter of months versus years. Some books, some authors from, that talked about New Age principles, like Florence, you know, I think Edgar Casey, as a child, he was kind of, not very good in school, but he slept with a book under his pillow, and the next morning, he knew everything. And then his dad was mad because his dad thought that he was faking, not knowing things this whole time. But I mean, these are things that have been happening, but I think now we're all kind of collectively getting to a place where we are not only believing this, but we're like, let's test this stuff out. And so that's really what I've done. And so I think, again, Florence's affirmations really serve more like declarations. And so shifting my language and coming from a place where I felt so defeated, I got the complete works of Florence Scovel Shinn in March 2023. I always write, hopefully you can see the month and the day, the year that I got books. So that's when I purchased this book. But before that, I was listening to her affirmations. I would find these affirmations of Florence's on YouTube that people put together. I will also link to those. And I also listen to people like Brian Scott, read some of her books. I really connected with Florence because she was in her middle years when she made this whole transition from working in a creative field as like a illustrator to taking principles from the Bible. I don't want to say reimagining them, but that was her gift that she was given so that she could break down these principles in a way that were um anyone could understand them and anyone could benefit from them. And she would call them like treatments. People would come to her, they would write to her, "Can you give me a treatment for my anxiety? Can you give me a treatment because I need to pay my rent?" And it was something about Florence's aura and energy that she could hold space and put these words together, and they would really help to shift one. And people believed in, her and her gift and the words so much that she got testimonial after testimonial of these miraculous changes in people's lives. So I knew that it was going to be very important to not just read these books, but absorb this. And I needed to saturate myself with her declarations, right? Beyond affirmations, so that I could move myself into magnetizing the career that I wanted, doing the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to travel more with my job. I wanted to do things that I was passionate about. I didn't want to be stuck sitting behind a desk. I thought that that was what I wanted to do because I had been in a position where I had started a company. I had seen the cannabis industry taking shape really early on. And so I was able to dive in. But the rest of the world and the market and opportunities hadn't caught up with that. So for quite a while, it was a struggle for me to maintain financial stability and independence. And so I have really gone through the fire. But during this period, there was this time where I had nothing but time on my hands. I had nothing but time on my hands. So I got this book and I just highlighted all up and through dog-eared pages. I don't know, like if you can even see, but like, I have used this book, highlighted it in so many places, and I just really took it seriously. And my whole world in months, sometimes weeks, shifted. Um, one one affirmation, one declaration, again, as I say, that sits on my mirror that is in front of my desk from Florence is, "All that is mine by divine right now comes to me under grace in perfect ways." Um, and that's a declaration. And you have to believe that. And you have to continue to say it so that it saturates your mind, because that language helps to shift. The other principle that helped me was the boomerang principle. And that's everything that you send out returns. So every negative thought that you send out returns. If it's, "I'm going to be stuck in traffic all day," sure enough, you're going to be stuck in traffic. I mean, people going to irritate me today. It's more than likely going to happen. And so you have to change what you put out into the world, because it's going to change what you receive back. And for me, I had to change what I put out into the world, knowing that I was qualified for the career I want. And it's okay that I don't know everything. That's what mentors are for. And that's what, leaders who can see leadership in you, they will be able to see past the things that you don't know. And you start getting the tools to heighten the things that you do know. And so with this, I had to change what I was putting out into the atmosphere, and also seeing myself in a bigger space. So seeing it for myself, going after bigger things so that I could get bigger returns. And one boomerang principle and declaration that I used from Florence to help shift my mindset, and this was from The Game of Life and How to Play It. And it goes, "I have a wonderful work in a wonderful way. I give wonderful service for wonderful pay." And I will say that I ended up getting my first six-figure job. It was fully remote. I was doing a lot of creative work. I was working with the cannabis brand out in California, heading up all of their marketing initiatives. We launched a Disco J's campaign, which was a pre-roll that sparkled, but I was able to work with other brands. I was able to actually get this salary that I had worked for years before, robbing Peter to pay Paul, because I saw an opportunity in this space, and finally the opportunities that I were looking for were meeting me. But before that, I was being prepared along the way. I had gotten almost close to my first six-figure salary doing PR, and I got an opportunity to do PR for psychedelic assisted therapy brands. So that helped me learn a lot more about, FDA and drug approval. It helped me learn how to do PR for companies that were raising millions of dollars and doing significant research. I got a great opportunity to launch Holy Ears, Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield's edible line. And throughout all that time, it was not, my most wonderful work experience. In fact, when I got that job, I knew immediately, like, oh no, this is not it. This kind of traditional sitting behind this desk, putting out these press releases was not it. But I worked really hard to absorb everything that I was learning, despite the things that I didn't like about it, and hype up the things that I did like. And those things started, as I look back now of where I am in this government policy space, still in cannabis, I realized that those things helped to set me up for this position. But I did have to keep saying these words. I have a wonderful work in a wonderful way. I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. And in this space and time, I really feel that way. Now I'm working in a state that fully supports cannabis legalization, helping to get new people who have their licenses up and running with technical assistance, community reinvestment and repair funds, really showing how this plant can do good. I had the opportunity just recently to attend the first Global Cannabis Regulatory Summit with leaders from 17 nations, all talking about cannabis policy on the Hill. It was like the United Nations of cannabis. It was absolutely unreal. And those are the moments and the times that I go, wow, look how declaring what it is that I was looking for, what it is that I wanted, how those things showed up. And here's the other thing. Some opportunities showed up when I did not know how I was going to pay for them, how I was going to get there. But that's what that faith is. And again, Florence had this ability to hold space so that your faith was like anchored in her belief. And then when it manifests in your life, then it strengthened your faith. So don't look at what your seemingly reality is. Declare the life that it is that you want, and it will manifest for you. And when you have those weak moments of doubt, as soon as you can, have those affirmations, declarations at the ready so that you can reprogram yourself immediately. The last thing is the law of assumption. And if you follow Neville Goddard, you are familiar with this law. And that's living from the end result, seeing yourself in that home, seeing yourself with, your loved one, with your family, seeing yourself taking that vacation where you're walking on the beach. Yeah, you might not have the passport, but the more you see yourself and feel yourself with that sand on your toes, the faster everything else that you need to make that reality a actual reality will start coming in and shaping up. And it's different, I think, from visualization because you are really working to feel, to use all of your senses to really place yourself there. And some people think, feel that visualization may be hard for them. This is where I would offer self-hypnosis because that gets you to that super relaxed state. You're still aware, but it allows your subconscious to be fed with the necessary wording and phrasing of words. Excuse me. And then your consciousness starts opening up and you start seeing yourself walking on the beach, getting off the plane, checking into the hotel, going into your room. You want to create these scenes. What would it look like? What would it feel like to be in your dream job? If you want to be traveling all the time, what would it feel like to get your passport in the mail? What would it feel like to pull up in your dream car to your girlfriends, or hang out with your friends? What would it feel like to call your boys and tell them you just had your first $10,000 month? It would feel amazing, exciting. So learning how to live from the end was also really, really important to not only shift myself into the reality that I wanted, but speed up the manifestations. And so, you get this in a daily practice. And for me, it was having it on the sticky notes, having it on, the note card, putting it, in front of me so that I could see it. If it was on every mirror, I had no choice but to see it. And sometimes you kind of see it in peripheral and, maybe you just read it with your eyes, but you have to put it into practice. It has to be a part of your daily routine. And then you just kind of let it go because, again, it's a declaration. All that is mine by divine right now comes to me under grace in perfect ways. That's it. That's all going on about my day. And you assume it into reality. So I'm now inviting those of you who have also experienced the blessing and the joy of integrating Florence Scovel Shinn's principles into your life. Share in the comments how her work has helped you, because it's going to continue to be a ripple effect and help other people. And this time, we have such a great opportunity to share our light. And if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Keep it moving. All right. You got to find the person in the community that works for your energy, but know that you can create the reality that you want. We're not theorizing about this. I put these principles into action in my life, and I've seen them manifest, and they continue to manifest. I think it's fun, now to just go, oh, what do I want today? What do I want now? As you start dipping your toe in, you want to start dipping your whole leg in, and eventually you just want to like dunk in. And that can be scary because that can cause major shifts, but you got to stand firm in your ability to take this life and play this game and play it to win it. So I wish all of you much success today, this week, this month, this year, as you go out and manifest the lives that you deserve and you pass that on to other people. Okay, so thank you again, Sarita, rich in spirit. I want you to stay rich in spirit and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day.